Born around the mid-15th century, Josquin Lebloitte, dit de Prez, was a central figure in the Franco-Flemish school, and his influence on 16th-century European music was profound. His musical journey began in the French-speaking area of Flanders, where he was possibly an altar boy and received his initial education at the Cambrai Cathedral, or perhaps under the tutelage of Johannes Ockeghem. The year 1477 saw Josquin in the choir of René of Anjou, and he likely served under Louis XV of France. Having amassed considerable wealth, Josquin ventured to Italy in the 1480s with Cardinal Ascanio Sforza. His travels also possibly took him to Vienna to work for Hungarian king Matthias Corvinus. During this period, he penned the motet Ave Maria, Virgo Serena, and the popular Chansons Adieu, mes amours, and Que vous madame. Josquin's compositions found favor with Pope Innocent VIII and Pope Alexander VI in Rome, Louis XIV in France, and Ercole d'Este in Ferrara. His works were printed and published by Ottaviano Petrucci in the early 16th century, including the Missa Hercules Dux Ferrarii. Josquin's influence extended beyond his lifetime. His music was widely performed and imitated in 16th century Europe. His work was lauded by Martin Luther and the music theorists Heinrich Glorian and Josefo Zarlino. However, the Baroque era saw his reputation eclipsed by the Italian composer Giovanni Pierluigi da Palestrina, although his work was still studied by theorists and music historians. The 20th century early music revival led to Josquin's re-evaluation as a central figure in Renaissance music. This has sparked debates over whether his importance has been overstated, particularly given the dubious attributions of over 100 works. Yet his music continues to captivate audiences in the 21st century, frequently recorded and central in the repertoire of early music vocal ensembles. His life and works continue to be the subject of ongoing scholarship. The 500th anniversary of his death in 2021 was celebrated worldwide, a testament to the enduring legacy of Josquin des Prez. His music, a harmonious blend of complex polyphony and expressive movement between independent voices, has left an indelible mark on the musical landscape, echoing through the ages to our modern era. As we journey further into the life of Josquin des Prez, we uncover a period of rapid stylistic evolution in the musical world, following the death of Dufay in 1474. Josquin and his contemporaries found themselves in an era marked by the geographical movement of musicians across Europe, leading to a vibrant exchange of ideas and styles. Musicologists credit Josquin with three primary developments that shaped the music of his time and beyond. First, he initiated a shift from extensive melismatic lines to smaller motifs, or motivic cells. These short, recognizable melodic fragments passed from one voice to another in a contrapuntal texture, providing a sense of inner unity. Secondly, Josquin made prominent use of imitative polyphony, treating all voices equally. This allowed for a rational and homogeneous integration of the musical space with a self-renewing rhythmic impetus. Thirdly, Josquin emphasized the text in his compositions, with the music serving to underscore its meaning. This early form of word painting marked a significant development in the relationship between music and lyrics. Josquin's career spanned 5 decades, during which he composed primarily in the genres of mass, motet, and chanson, with French text. Despite the difficulty in establishing a chronology of his works due to sparse historical evidence, it is clear that his body of work is larger than most of his contemporaries, rivaled perhaps only by Isaac and Obrecht. Few manuscripts of Josquin's music from before the 16th century have survived, a testament to the ravages of time, war, and fluctuating enthusiasm, both religious and anti-religious. Identifying his earlier works is particularly challenging, and even his later works offer little certainty. Despite these challenges, the echoes of Josquin's music continue to resonate, forever shaping the landscape of Renaissance music. His legacy, as musicologist Richard Taruskin suggests, reminds us of our own journey of discovery and understanding. As we delve deeper into Josquin's vast body of work, we find his exceptional mastery of the Mass genre. The Mass, a central rite of the Catholic Church, was a significant component of Western classical music in the 15th century. composers faced the challenge of creating substantial polyphonic five-movement works that satisfied both liturgical and musical demands. Josquin and Obrecht led an intensive development of this genre, with Josquin's masses presenting a less radical approach than his motets. This could be attributed to the masses being earlier works or the structural and textual limitations of the genre. Josquin's masses can be categorized into 5 styles: canonic masses, cantus firmus masses, paraphrase masses, parody masses, and psalmization masses. His innovation lay in pioneering paraphrase and parody masses, which were not well established before the 16th century. Several of his works even combine the cantus firmus style with paraphrase and parody, making strict categorization challenging. His instinct, as observed by Noble, was to extract as much variety from his given musical material, whether sacred or secular, using any appropriate means. This exemplifies Josquin's creative genius and his profound influence on the development of the mass genre. His contributions have left an indelible mark on the landscape of Renaissance music, forever shaping the way we understand and appreciate this form of classical composition. In the realm of Josquin's works, his motets stand out as his most celebrated and influential creations. The style of these motets varies significantly, reflecting the diversity of his creative genius. They can be broadly divided into 3 categories: homophonic settings with block chords and syllabic text declamation, ornate contrapuntal fantasias, where the music overshadows the text, and psalm settings that combine these extremes with the addition of rhetorical figures and text painting. This innovative fusion foreshadowed the later development of the madrigal. Josquin's motets were primarily composed for 4 voices, following the compositional norm established by the mid-15th century. However, he was not one to be confined by norms and conventions. He broke the mold by innovatively writing motets for 5 and 6 voices, a testimony to his relentless pursuit of musical exploration. Many of Josquin's motets employ compositional constraints, while others are freely composed. They feature a range of techniques including a unifying cantus firmus, canonic structure, and the use of a repeating motto. Imitation is a recurring theme in his motets, with sections akin to fugal expositions occurring on successive lines of the text. This technique is particularly prominent in his early work, Ave Maria, Virgo Serena, where each voice enters by restating the lines sung before it. Josquin's motets also include a large proportion of polyphonic psalm settings, a unique aspect of his repertoire. His settings, such as the famous Miserere, Memor esto verbi tui, and 2 versions of De Profundis, are often considered among his most significant accomplishments. Josquin also contributed to the development of the motet chanson, a new type of piece that emerged in Milan. These pieces, such as Que vous, Madame, in Pace, À l'amour monstre te essematrem, and Fortune d'estrange plumage pauper sum ego, blend a chant-derived Latin cantus firmus with a secular French text, creating a symbolic relationship or commentary between the two. In all, Josquin's motets represent a remarkable fusion of artistry, innovation, and technical brilliance, further cementing his legacy as one of the greatest composers of the Renaissance period. Josquin's chansons, composed for 3 to 6 voices, are another testament to his creative prowess and versatility. Some of these pieces were likely intended for instrumental performance, further showcasing his ability to transcend mediums. In his chansons, Josquin often employed a cantus firmus, sometimes based on a popular song whose origin remains unknown, as in Si je voyais Marion. In other instances, he used a tune initially associated with a different text or freely composed an entire song without any apparent external source material. An innovative technique that Josquin employed was to write a popular song as a canon with itself in 2 inner voices, creating new melodic material around it, as in one of his most famous chansons, Faute d'argent. Josquin's earliest chansons were likely composed in Northern Europe, influenced by composers like Ockeghem and Busnois. However, unlike his predecessors, he didn't strictly adhere to the conventions of formas fixes, the rigid repetition patterns of the rondeau, virelai, and ballade. He often wrote his early chansons in strict imitation, similar to his sacred works. Josquin was a pioneer in writing chansons with all voices as equal parts of the texture, many of which contain points of imitation, akin to his motets. His use of melodic repetition, especially in lines with rhyming text, and the lighter texture and faster tempo of his chansons set them apart from his motets. Several of Josquin's chansons were likely designed to be performed with instruments. Many were published without text, and some pieces, such as the fanfare like Vive le Roi, contain writing more idiomatic for instruments than voices. These chansons circulated widely in Europe, with notable pieces including his lament on the death of Ockeghem, Nymphes des Bois, Requiem Aeternam, Mille Regrets, an uncertain attribution to Josquin, Nymphes Napes, and Plus Nulles Regrets. Josquin also composed at least 3 pieces in the style of the Frottola, a popular Italian song form that he would have encountered during his years in Milan. These songs, including Scaramella, El Grillo, and In te Domine Speravi, are simpler in texture than his French chansons, being almost uniformly syllabic and homophonic, and they remain among his most frequently performed pieces. Through these chansons, Josquin demonstrated his adaptability and ingenuity, contributing to his enduring legacy in the world of music.